Your carry-on has been on a dozen flights, and today it gets rejected by a plastic box at the gate. And if you are a senior traveler, that is not just annoying. It is the moment you get stuck, standing there, repacking, while boarding keeps moving. In this video, I am going to walk you through the new carry-on reality for 2026 senior style. So your bag passes the frame, you skip the surprise weigh-ins, and you keep your essentials within reach instead of playing "Where did my stuff go?" at the podium. You know what has changed in 2026? It is not your bag, it is the gate. The first way your trip can go sideways is simple. The suitcase you have trusted for years looks perfect in your hallway, then it fails the moment it hits the frame. You have flown with it a dozen times, and that history does not help anymore. And that is the real shift right now. The rules did not change much, enforcement did. If you are a senior traveler, rolling a suitcase is still the smart move. It saves your shoulders, your wrists, your patience. The problem is, rollers are also the first bags that get pulled when they do not fit cleanly. Most US airlines are still judging carry-ons around 22 by 14 by 9 inches. And yes, they count the wheels and the handle. So if your suitcase basically fits, or you have been stuffing that front pocket until it looks like it is holding its breath, you are relying on luck. And luck is not a boarding strategy. This part hits harder when you are older because a gate check can turn into a scramble. You are suddenly pulling out meds, batteries, glasses, whatever you actually need close by, while boarding keeps moving. It is stressful, and it is avoidable. So here is the goal. Make the bag easy for them to approve, and easy for you to manage. Measure the outside of the suitcase the way the airport does. Wheels, handle, corners, bulging pockets, all of it. Then pack it like a real trip and zip it without forcing it. If you have to fight the expansion zipper, skip it. That one more inch is the inch the frame refuses, and the extra weight is the kind your back remembers later. Now, the 10-second sizer test. Hard shell, wheels, handle, front pocket flat. If the pocket is holding its breath, it is not fitting. When you are choosing a suitcase, pick the one that rolls smoothly and stays light before you even put anything inside. A taller handle helps too. It lets you walk upright instead of leaning forward and dragging the bag behind you. And one habit makes senior travel calmer immediately. Keep your must-haves under the seat. We will build the personal item system for that in a later section so you are not scrambling at the podium. Get the size right and keep it light, and you have already avoided the most stressful version of the gate. Next up is the part that surprises people even when the bag fits. Carry-on weight getting treated like it actually matters. Even when your bag fits the frame, there is another rule getting enforced a lot more lately. Weight. For years, carry-on weight limits were that tiny line in the fine print people ignored. Now, more airlines are treating it like a real checkpoint. You will notice it most on non-US carriers, especially across Asia, where carry-on weigh-ins have been normal for years. And the numbers do not sound scary until you do the math. A lot of carriers sit around 8 to 10 kilos, about 17 to 22 pounds. Your suitcase eats part of that before you pack anything. Add a laptop, toiletries, an extra pair of shoes, and a couple just-in-case items, and you are closer to the limit than you think. For senior travelers, the real problem is not the number. It is what happens when you are over. Because being overweight does not just mean a fee. It can trigger a gate repack. Bending over a suitcase in a crowded terminal. Rushing, digging, shifting weight from one hand to the other. That is where backs flare up and shoulders get angry. It is also where stress spikes fast, especially if you are traveling solo and the line keeps moving. So here's your simple target. At home, aim to be 1 to 2 pounds under the limit. That buffer is what saves you when the scale at the airport reads a little differently. And the weigh-in can show up in places people do not expect. Some airports catch it early at check-in, around kiosks and bag drop counters. Others wait until the gate, when you feel like you are already done. Either way, if your bag goes on a scale and the number is high, your choices are never fun. Rearrange on the spot, pay extra, or hand the bag over. If they weigh you at the gate, do not argue first. Do one quick move. Take one dense item, your charger brick, your toiletry pouch, a book, and move it into your personal item or a jacket pocket. Then reweigh. You are not repacking your whole life. You are just shaving off the heavy chunk. So you want to prevent that moment as much as possible. Do one simple thing at home. Weigh your carry-on before you leave. A small handheld luggage scale turns this into a 10-second habit. If you are close to the limit, wear the heavy stuff instead of packing it, your jacket, your sturdier shoes, then pull the biggest weight traps out of the bag. Heavy books, extra gadgets, duplicate toiletries, the maybe I will need it pile. Keep your packing boring and light, and keep your medication pouch with you. Next up is the rule a lot of people still treat like a free pass. That personal item you have been carrying like a second carry-on. If you have ever boarded looking like a walking coat rack, roller bag, backpack, tote, maybe a duty-free bag with a jacket draped over it, this is the part that is getting harder to pull off. Flights are packed, bins fill early, and crews are trying to keep the aisle clear and the boarding process smooth. When they need to tighten things up, the personal item is the first thing they look at. The rule is simple. Your personal item has to fit fully under the seat in front of you and stay there. A lot of airlines land around the 18 by 14 by 8 inch range, give or take. But the real test is the seat. If your bag only fits when you twist it sideways and sacrifice your legroom, it is not really fitting. For seniors, the best move is to stop treating the personal item like extra space and start treating it like a system. Call it your underseat access kit. Same 5 essentials, same pockets, every trip. Passport, wallet, phone, charger, meds, pouch, that is it. You are not packing a second suitcase. You are packing what you might need without standing up or digging. Go soft-sided so it flexes under the seat. Pick something that stays close to your body so your hands are free on the jet bridge. Add one small snack if you need it, especially if you manage blood sugar, because having something within reach is part of staying steady, not being dramatic. Quick note before we move on. If you travel with a medical device like a CPAP or a cane, it is often treated differently on US connected flights. I will explain the exact rules next. Just remember, your underseat access kit stays separate and stays consistent. And try not to walk up with a bunch of loose extras. Purse plus tote plus sleeve plus shopping bag turns into a juggling act at the exact moment you want. Calm. One personal item, zipped and easy to park under the seat, makes boarding feel simple again. Next up, the security lane rules that still catch people. Liquids, gels, and the solid items that get treated like liquids. You know what gets people in trouble at security more than anything? It is not a weird item. It is a normal item, packed the normal way. And the funniest example is peanut butter. It looks solid sitting in your bag, right up until TSA treats it like a liquid or gel. So yes, your little snack can get handled like shampoo. Now, there is some good news in 2026. More airports have those newer CT scanners, and in some lanes you will not have to pull out your liquids or your laptop. You drop your bag on the belt, keep moving, and it feels like the rules finally got easier. The part that messes seniors up is consistency. Your big departure airport might be smooth and modern, then you fly home through a smaller airport that is running the old style process. And the baseline rule in the US has not magically disappeared. The 3-1-1 setup is still the default for regular liquids, gels, creams, and aerosols. Here is the senior twist that matters. Liquid medications play by different rules, but only if you handle them the right way. If you travel with liquid medicine that is over 3.4 ounces, cough syrup, liquid pain relief, saline, nutrition liquids, anything medically necessary, do not bury it and hope it slides through unnoticed. Keep it easy to reach and tell the officer before your bag goes into the machine. That one sentence can save you from the long, stressful bag search that turns the checkpoint into an endurance test. For everything that is not medical pack, like you are going through the strict lane every time, Keep your regular toiletries in travel-size containers, together in one clear pouch near the top. If you get a CT lane where nothing has to come out, it is a nice bonus. If you do not, you are ready in 2 seconds without unpacking your whole carry-on. And if you want the easiest win of all, switch to solids where it makes sense. Shampoo bars, bar soap, solid deodorant, those do not trigger the liquid math, and they do not get you stuck explaining a mystery jar at the checkpoint. Back to snacks for a second, because this is where seniors get annoyed. Spreads count. Peanut butter, creamy dips, soft cheeses, anything you can smear can be treated like a gel. If it is small enough, fine. If it is not, it is the kind of harmless item that ends up in the trash while you are trying to keep your blood sugar steady and your day calm. If you fly within the US, or you are flying to or from the US, medical and assistive items usually get special treatment. A cane, walker, or a CPAP, those typically do not count against your carry-on limit. If you are flying entirely outside the US, rules can vary by airline and country. So check your carrier's medical device policy before you pack, and keep that device bag medical only. The important part is keeping it clean and obvious. If that medical bag turns into a bonus suitcase with a sweater, snacks, and random extras, an airline can treat it like a regular bag and count it. Keep it medical only, and you skip the gate discussion. At security, clarity wins. One small meds pouch, easy to grab. TSA does not require original bottles, but a label or even a photo of your prescription can save you time, especially on international trips. Also, expect occasional extra screening on medical gear. Sometimes it is as simple as a quick swab. Pack it so you can pull it out without turning your carry-on into a yard sale. And if you use a portable oxygen concentrator, batteries can decide whether you are allowed to fly. Airlines may require enough charged battery to cover 150% of your flight time. So for long trips, plan for delays and pack power accordingly. We have talked size, weight, liquids, and there is one last thing that decides whether your bag stays with you: the overhead bin. These days, that space above your head is not a nice perk. It is a race you can lose even when you followed every rule. Planes are full, boarding moves fast, and bins fill up early. So you can be doing everything right, bag fits, bag is light, personal item is under seat, and still watch your roller get tagged at the end because there is simply nowhere left to put it. This is where it hits seniors differently. Getting forced into a last-second gate check is not just annoying, it can turn into a stressful scramble. You are standing in the aisle, people are behind you, you are trying to pull out the few things you actually need, and your body is doing that. We are not built for this. Protest. So the move is to stop treating boarding like an afterthought. If you need extra time to get settled, or you do not want to wrestle a bag overhead while everyone waits, ask for pre-boarding or extra time boarding at the gate. You do not have to make it a big speech. A simple, "I need a little extra time to board and stow my bag," is enough. That one request can save your knees, your back, and your stress level. And when it is time to board, do not hang back when your group is called. You do not need to sprint, but you do want to be ready. Waiting for one more coffee is how you end up boarding when the bins are already spoken for. Here is the other senior-friendly rule. Do not lift a heavy bag just to prove you still can. If the overhead lift feels awkward, ask for help. A strained shoulder on day one of your trip is a terrible souvenir. If you are traveling with someone, coordinate. 2 maxed out rollers is 2 people fighting the same small patch of space. Sharing one overhead bag and keeping the rest under the seat usually makes the whole boarding moment calmer, because that is the real win here. The goal is not win the bin war. The goal is to board without stress, sit down without a commotion, and start your flight feeling steady instead of rushed. Here is the bottom line for senior travelers. Keep the bag small enough to pass the frame, light enough to lift without pain, and organized enough that you can grab what you need in one move. Do that, and you skip the public repacks, the surprise weigh-ins, and the gate stress that ruins the whole day. Before you go, here's the quick save-worthy recap. Pass the sizer by measuring the outside of the bag. Pass the scale by weighing at home with a little buffer. Keep your underseat kit consistent so your essentials stay with you. And pack for the strict security lanes so nothing normal turns into a problem. If this helped, hit like so other travelers see it, and subscribe for more senior-friendly flying tips. And drop a comment. What is your non-negotiable? Your meds pouch, a blood sugar snack, or a battery pack?